Welcome back to the session. So myself, Ramyasri, working assistant professor in the CSE department at Institute of Aeronautical Engineering. So today I would like to discuss about topic called as a database languages in the database management system. So going to the database languages, so why we require database languages? So as we know that a database is nothing but a large collection of data which is in the organized format. So whatever the data we are having in the databases is in the form of rows and columns, or we can call as a two-dimensional tabular format. So if you want to perform any type of operations on the database, it may be retrieval, updation, storing, or it may be any kind of thing that can be done only by using database language. So that's why we are moving into the database languages in order to perform the operations on the database. So why we require this database language? Database language is used to read, update or store data in the database. So in order to perform any operation, there are many languages are used for this purpose. So one of the major language and popular language which we use to perform operations on the database is called SQL, whereas SQL is a structured query language and it is called as a computer language which is mainly used to establish a communication between user and database. So any user want to interact with a database, that can be done only by using language called as a SQL, that is called as structured query language. So here, whatever the operations we want to perform, all database related operations are performed only by using this SQL language. Now let us see the classification, how many types of database languages where we can do in the SQL. So coming to now classification. So classification is totally categorized into 4 types. The first one is DDL. So that is called as data definition language. And second one is DCL. DCL is nothing but data control language. And third one is data manipulation language. And fourth one is TCL, that is called as a transaction control languages. So coming to here, DDL is totally controlled and used only by using DBA, who is database administrator, nothing but in the DDL where we can create only structure of the database. So coming to DML, we can perform the many operations, and coming to DCL, there we can provide only privileges to the user what to perform and what not to perform. And coming to transactions, it manages all the transactions which are done in the DML. Now let us see each and every one clearly, what is each and every language and what are the operations performed by all these languages. Now let us moving into the first language, that is called as DDL. So DDL is a data definition language which is used to define the structure or the basic skeleton of the database. Nothing but by using DDL, we can create the skeleton of the database. Suppose I take here example as teacher as an entity, and what are the entity properties having teacher ID, teacher name, teacher address. These comes under the nothing but teacher attributes. So here entities always comes under the name of the table and attributes always comes under the columns of the table. So here by using DDL, we can able to create the tables or schemas or any indexes and constraints of the table. And we cannot create any data inside the table. Only we can create only structure or skeleton of the table. And that skeleton contains information about the number of tables and number of columns in the table and indexes and so on. So data will be presenting in the DDL. So finally, it will create only skeleton of the particular model or database. And whatever the operation, I think whatever the commands we perform through using DDL, those are auto-committed. This auto-committed is nothing but whatever the changes we make by using this language, those are permanently saved in the database, which cannot be changed. So this is about the DDL, which can create the only structure of the database. Now let us see what are the operations and tasks performed by the DDL. So first operation is create. So this create operation is used to create table. Nothing but in order to create, in order to insert or perform any type of the operations, first basically we need to create a table, because database will store data in the form of tables. So in order to create the table or relation, first and foremost command we require here, create. By using create, we can create the skeleton of the database. What does it contains? In the create command, we make use of name of the table what we want to create, and we will give the specify the columns what you want to insert, what you want to include in the database skeleton. And those, for the each and every attribute of the column, a data type should be associated. Based on the data type, the data should be given by the DML commands. Already told, DML is used to give the data and DDL is used to create only skeleton. So create will create the name of the table as well as the columns in the table along with the type of the data. Next one, alter. So once after creating, alter command we use to alter the structure of the database. What do you mean by altering? So here alter can be used in two ways. We can add, suppose in the initially I add only 3 columns in the table student. Suppose I would like to add the new column after some time. Then here I no need to go to again creation of the table. Simply I can go with the alter command. By using alter command, I can add the column in the existing table. And also in some cases, we can modify the type of the column by using alter. Suppose first time I have given the name as a some varchar 10. In the after some time I want to change the length of the varchar to some 100. So that can also be modified by using the alter only. By using alter, we can add the new column in the existing table, or we can change the existing type to the new type. That can be done only by using alter command. And the next one, drop. This drop command is used to delete or drop the total structure of the table. The main thing when you use a drop, if you don't want to require the table in the no more else in your database, simply use a drop followed by the name of the table. When you use a drop, the total skeleton, the table information totally deleted. Not only skeleton, even though each and every part of the information will be deleted from the database. Next one, truncate. So truncate also removes the records in the database. Nothing but what is the difference between the drop and truncate? Drop will delete the totally table from the database, but truncate, it will delete only rows in the table. It means it won't delete the structure. The skeleton will be as it is, but whatever the content inside the table will be deleted. That is a major difference between the drop and the truncate. Truncate is used to remove all records from the table, not columns. And the last one, rename. This rename is used to rename the database table name. So these are some of the tasks performed by DDL. And the next one, we are moving to the next language, that is DML. So DML is called as data manipulation language, and this data manipulation language is used to manage and access the data, where this can be handled only by user request. Next one, let us see some of the tasks which are performed by DML. So what is the first task? The first task performed is select. The select is nothing but which we can suppose, as we know that the database contains a collection of information, large amount of information. Suppose we want to extract from the large collection of information only a small part or in a specific constraints, we can able to extract the database only by using select. Nothing but we can retrieve the data whatever the user required by using the select command. So we can retrieve the total records or part of the records depend upon the user constraint. If you want to extract the total record, simply we need to make use of a star, nothing but an asterisk symbol, where it specifies total content of the table. Suppose if you want only a specific constraint, there you need to specify the constraint in the select command. Based on that, it will extract the result to the user. The next one, insert. So coming to DDL, where we create only structure, we won't create the rows and tuples. Rows and tuples are nothing but a data which we present inside the table is called as a tuples. So those tuples can be inserted, nothing but those data inside the database can be inserted only by using the DML insert command. until and unless the DDL will show only structure of the table. Next one, update. It is used, whereas in the DDL we are having the alter, in the DML we are having the update. The difference between the alter and update, here update is used to update the existing data present in the database or in the table. But coming to alter, it is used to add or modify the columns. But coming to update, it is used to update the rows data. Alter is used to update the columns data. The next one, delete. This delete is used to delete the total table or part of the table or on the specifying constant. Here also same way, but main thing, delete will delete all the records from the table. But and one more thing here, when you use a delete, it won't delete the structure. It will delete the total rows in the table. When we use a drop, it will drop the total table from the database. The next one, we will go with the next language, DCL, that is called as a data control language. This data control language is used to control the privileges. Nothing but if you want to perform any type of operations on the database, it can be creating the table, inserting the data, or altering the table. What type of operation we want to perform, first we require the privilege from the database administrator. Then only we can able to perform any type of operation on the database. That will be taken care by DCL. This DCL is a data control language which will control the privileges that will be given by the database administrator. And basically privileges are of two types. The first one is system privilege. Second one is object privilege. So system privilege is used to, suppose, creating the tables, next creating the sessions, or in order to create all those things, those all comes under the system privileges. So when we want to work on the tables, when we want to update or insert or any type of operations we want to perform on the data, those comes under the object privilege. So privileges are categorized into two types, system and object. Creating sessions and tables comes under the system privileges, and if you want to update any data on the databases by using commands, that comes under the object privileges. So these two will be given by the database administrator to the database user. Now let us see some of the tasks performed by the DCL, data control language. The first one is grant. The grant is, already I told, it will control the privileges. So before going to perform any action or any operation in the database, initially the data, we need to get the permissions from the DBA. Nothing but this grant is used to give user access privileges to perform any operation on the database. And the next one, revoke. Once after completing the operation by the user, the DBA will perform the revoke, which will be get back. Nothing but it will be taken back the permissions from the user, and after that he cannot able to perform any type of operations once it is revoked. Now next one, that is called as transaction control language, last language of the classification, which is used to manage the transactions in the database. So here why we use TCL here, nothing but whatever the changes we made in the DML. So what we are going to do in the DML we are going to update, retrieve, insert and delete. So whatever the operations we do in the DML commands, those are not auto committed. So those are temporarily saved in the buffer. In order to make those transactions committed or roll back to the previous stage, here we need to make use of transaction control languages. So the operations which are performed by the DML will be managed by the TCL, that is called as transaction control language. Now let us see some of the tasks which are performed by the TCL. So first one is commit, second one is rollback, and third one is save point. So this save point we'll discuss detailedly in the recovery techniques, that is in the transaction management. Now let us see what is commit and rollback. So commit is nothing but which will save the transaction permanently in the database. So suppose already I told this can be performed only on the DML because the DML statements are not auto committed. So when DDL are auto committed because those are permanently makes changes in the database. In order to make the changes permanently saves in the DML, here we make use of TCL. So commit will use it to permanently save any transaction in the database. When we perform the operation, suppose insertion and deletion, when we perform the operation, once you don't do the commit, that whatever operations you do, that will not be stored in the main memory, but a secondary memory. It's simply stored in the buffer management. It will not be stored in the secondary memory. So if you want that to be stored in the secondary memory, simply after completing your operations, click on, simply type the command as commit. Then it will permanently make the save the changes in the database. That is the purpose of the commit. Next one, rollback. So this rollback will restore the data to last committed state. Why we require here rollback is nothing but, suppose when we perform the operations of deletions and updations, and as soon as when we go with the command commit, it will save the data permanently. When after some time we may realize that we require the data which we deleted previously at that point of time, here we need to make use of rollback command where it moves to the last committed state. Nothing but whatever operations performed before the committed, that will be erased and it go to the last actual table. So by that way we can easily extract the data which is already deleted. We can extract the data by using rollback. So that's why rollback is restores the database to the last committed state. If you do any mistakes, then we can use the rollback command to go back to the last committed state and we rectify and we do the other operations. The last one, that is called as a save point. Save point is nothing but which will save the transaction temporarily. By that way, we can roll back to that point whenever we require. Nothing but here, commit and rollback is totally different, and save point is also different. So we will create some temporary transactions with the save point A, save point B, save point C. Suppose I want to move to the B or C, then I can use a rollback followed by the save point name. It will directly go back to the save point B. Then we can make some operations and come back to the previous stage. So save point is used to temporarily save the transactions. So these are the languages, are nothing but a database languages which are mainly used to perform the operations on the databases. So next class we'll discuss about what are the database users and how they will perform the operations on the database. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.